Hello, and this is day 10. So we're doing day 10, and here we are. So distributed property, remember the term um, outside is it's multiplying everybody inside. Okay, so um, pick a color, pick a color, pick a color. Why is this so dark? I don't know why. Okay, so it's going to be this times this, and plus this times that. So we got 4 times 3b, 4 times 3b. I'm only going to do this long way, the first couple of ones, then I'll just cut straight. 4 times 3b plus 4 times 2f. So think about it. Remember b, burgers, f, french fries, like we did it in class. So 4 times 3 burgers, if four people orders 3 burgers, and then 4 people order 2 fries each. So another way, so you multiply 4 times 3b plus 4 times 2f. And if 4 people order 3 burgers each, that's the same thing as saying 12 burgers. And if 4 people order 2 french fries each, it'd be 4 times 2, or 8f. Okay, or 8f. So, and that's our final answer, because I can't combine this any further. So that just means 12 burgers and 8 french fries. Okay, they're not like terms, so they stay like that. Number 2. 7 times k, and then 7 times 3m, and then 7 times 12. So 7 times k is just simply 7k plus 7 times 3m, and we'll multiply 7 and 3, gets 21m. Next one is a minus, careful here, and 7 times 12 is, 84. Once I do the distributed property, look for like terms. This has a k, this has an m, and this is just a constant, so none of these three can be combined with each other, so that's our final answer. Ooh, here, a little more complicated. So there's 2 distributed properties happening here. First one is here. The second one is between the 5 and the 3m and the 5 and the 2h. So let's do the first one first. 3 times 2m is 6m, plus 3 times 4h is 12h. Okay, so we're done with the first one. Notice that once we do the distributive property, our parentheses are gone. Okay, plus 5 times 3m is 15m, and then minus, careful here, minus 5 times 2h is 10h. Now we look for things that are common, like terms. I'm sorry, and we do. We have this 6m, which is in the same category as this plus 15m, okay, and then the 12h and minus 10h can be combined. So I'm going to shift things around. So I'm going to put all the m's next to each other. So 6m. Notice when I move this term, I move it with that plus sign. So 6m plus 15m. And then plus 12h will come here in the third spot. And minus 10h will just stay in the last 4th spot. I can combine these two because they're both m's, so 16 and plus 15m is 21m. And here 12h, and if I have 12h and I take 10h, I'm left with 2h, and that would be plus 2h. And this is my final answer. Okay. Next one, 5 times 2b, I get 10b, minus 5 times 4f is 20f. And multiply these two, plus 8b, and plus 2 times 7f is 14f. And again, this is very similar to the previous problems, where I can combine like terms, and I did a mistake here. Well, not a mistake, because we haven't dealt with negative integers, so I'll do it anyway. So the 10b and the 8b are alike. So the 10b and the plus 8b, I'm going to put them side by side here, 10b plus 8b, okay, and then put a square around the 20f and the plus 14f, but it's not just any 20f, it's minus 20f, minus 20f, and the last one is plus 14f. Okay, so all my like terms are next to each other. I can combine these two. 10b plus 8b is 18b. Here you have to be careful. Okay, that's minus 20f plus 14f. Okay, and although we haven't dealt with negative integers, minus 20f plus 14f will give you minus 6f here. So this is my fault. I should have made this positive and this negative, okay? So minus 20f plus 14f is minus 6f. So if you got up to this point, you should be okay, all right? They're not going to give you negative integers on a test to combine something with negative. Okay, that was my fault. Create an equivalent expression by factoring the GCF. So careful here with your term. So basically we want this to look something like this, remember? So what would the distributive property? What attacked this to give you 40b, and what attacked this second term inside the parenthesis to give you 24d? Okay, so we're almost working this backwards. All right, so one way of doing this, and I think, is to use a ladder method. Okay, makes life a lot easier. So if you use the ladder method, let's say pick a number. Let's pick 4. 4 goes to 40 10 times, or 10b. 4 goes to 24 6 times, or 6d. Can we go again? We can. We can use 2. 2 goes into 10b 5 times. And 2 goes to 6d 3 times, or 3d. Nothing else can go, so we're done. So GCF here, we're factoring the GCF here. You're taking the biggest number. And the GCF is the product of these two numbers, so it's 8. So GCF is 8. I'm going to put the 8 outside, and inside you're going to have these two terms, and I'll tell you how that works in a second. That's going to be 5b and 3d. You can always check to see if it's right. 8 times 5 gives you 40, so that's 40b, and 8 times 3 equals 24. You don't really need to do all this. It just helps you because you can visually see, the GCF in the first term and the second term is nice and easy. So you're basically taking the GCF. So the biggest number that goes into 40 and 24 is 8, and that's what goes outside. And then it would just be 40 divided by 8 and 40 divided by 24 to give you the inside two numbers. Okay. 12M, 18K, and 30W, same thing. 12M, 18K, and 30W. Let's put it like that. If you do the so again, your answer is going to look like this. Something outside was multiplied by this first term, second term, and the last term, okay, to give you 12M, 18K, 30W. So what's the biggest number that goes into those three? Well, let's see, 2. No, you can go higher. 3, 6. 6 goes into 12 2 times, 2m. 6 goes into 18 3 times. And 6 goes into 30 5 times. Nothing else works. So 6 is our number outside. 2m goes here. 3k goes here. And 5w over here. You can double check. 6 times 2m is 12m. 6 times 3k is 18k, good. And 6 times 5 is 30w. So see, applying the distributive property gives us this. So we know we are correct. 72. Let's try to do this without doing the ladder method here. 72, 27, and 54. Think of a number. Okay, and inside we're going to have this. Plus something minus something. So what's the biggest number that goes into 72, 27, 54? 2, no. 3, no. 3 goes 3 actually, no. But we can go higher. And the biggest number is 9. Okay, so what times 9 gives you 72? It would be 8. 9 times 8 is 72. What times 9 gives you 27? It would be 3. And 1 times 9 gives you 54 will be 6r. There we go. Without doing the ladder method, we can also get our answer. But just got to be careful because we're looking for the biggest number, okay, that goes into B. We want to use the GCF, the biggest number that is in common, that goes into all three numbers. Okay. Last one. So again, let's do that without doing the ladder method. Now, you know what, actually, I think we should do the ladder method. 35, 45M, 60F, only because this way you're guaranteed not to miss it. Because you might think that a particular number is the biggest number, it might actually not be because there's something bigger. So 30, 45, 60, and 75. Well, they all ends in 0 or 5, so definitely 5. Can I go higher than 5? 10. 10 works with 30 and 60, but not 45, 75. So another number, 15. 15, yep, 15 works. 15 goes to 30 2 times. 15 goes to 45 3 times. 15 goes to 60 4 times, 4F. And 15 will go into 75 5. So, and as you can tell, nothing else will go into these 4 numbers. Okay, so the number outside is 15 because that's the GCF. The numbers inside are 2A plus 3M plus 4F minus 5. You can again double check. 15 times 2 is 30, good. 15 times 3 is 45, good. 15 times 4 is 60, and last one, 15 times 5 is 75. Okay. Let's see the last 2 questions. Give an example that describes. Oh, there's more. Quite a bit more. Give an example that describes the associate property. We can. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Uh-oh. No. Here we go. No. Yes. Yes. Associated property. Okay, so let's try one with multiplication. 3 times 5 times 2 on one side is the same thing as 3 times 5 times 2. Notice that I changed the order in which I multiply here. I'm multiplying here 3 times 5 first and then 2, whereas this side I'm multiplying 5 and 2 and then times 3. And they're equal to each other because it's not going to change our answer. Community property, let's do addition. Community property, let's see this addition. Let's just simple one, 5 times 3 is the same thing as 3 plus 5. 5 plus 3 is the same thing. The order in which you add these two numbers will not matter because you'll get the same sum. Okay, so there's an example. Now over here, actually, there's an interesting one. We could have used the prior example. For community property, we can say this or change this. That's also, okay, we're changing this and this, right? We're thinking of these two things as one thing, and we're moving this to the front and this on this side and 3 to the back. Okay, so that's a different way of showing the example of community property. Okay. For each expression, terms, coefficients, etc. Okay, so number terms, 3 terms. Coefficients, 2 coefficients. Okay, which is the m and the k. Constant is 9. Oops. Stop. 3 terms. Number of coefficients, 2 coefficients. Here are your coefficients. Coefficients is that number in front of the variable is a 3 and a 5. Your constants, your constant is your the 9, and your variable is the m and the k. Okay, that was number 1. Number 2, how many terms? Well, it's made up of 2 terms. Okay, 2 parts. Coefficients, yes, just the 4. Okay. The constant is the 8, and the variable is the y. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Coefficients, we have the 2, but we remember there's a 1 here, and there's a 1 here in front of that, so you have 1, 2, and 1. Your constants is just a number by itself, which is 12, and your variables, m, w, h. Okay. Do something. Use order of operations. Okay, so let's do the first one. So 48 minus 4 to the third power divided by 8, and I'm going to do 5 plus 1 is 6. Now it's 48 minus 4 to the third power is 4 times 4, which is 16 times 4, 64. I changed the exponent to 64 divided by 8 times 6. And remember, order of operations, we did exponents, we did parentheses, I changed the exponents. Now it's multiplication and division, so it's 48 minus 64 divided by, okay, so let me take that back. Now I have a choice between dividing 64 by 8 or multiplying 8 by 6. Or 8 by 6. I'm going to divide. 64 divided by 8 is 8. And then I'm going to multiply by 6. 48 minus 8 times 6 is 48. And that gives us an answer of 0. Okay. So inside the parentheses, I got 36 divided by 18 plus 4. So I'm going to do 36 divided by 18. 36 divided by 18 is 2. And then plus 4 to the third power, minus 34. 2 plus 4 is 6 to the third power, minus 34. 6 to the third power is 6 times 6, 36 times another 6, 216, minus 34. And then 216 minus 34 is 2, 11 minus 3 is 8, 182. Okay. That's the answer for that. Y is 4, m is 3, k is 5, so we're going to have to substitute. So 4 times y, which is 4, plus 12 minus 3, m in this case is 3, so times 3. So I replace my variables with given values. So 4 times 4 here is 16, plus 12 minus, and 3 times 3 is 9. Remember, when you have a choice between addition and subtraction, it's whichever one comes first from left to right. So 16 plus 12 is 28. Minus 9 gives us 17. Okay. No. 19. Sorry. Right. Again, 2.8 times y, which is 4, plus 5.1 times m, which is 3, plus k, which is 5. So now I have to multiply 2.8 times 4, and I'm going to use 2.8 times 4, 2.8 times 4 equals 11.2, plus 15.3, plus 5. Now it's easy because it's all addition. So 11.2 plus 15.3, let's see, it's 5. I'm just going to add this over here, 11.2, 15.3, line up your decimals, and the last one is a 5. Remember, the 5 doesn't have a decimal, so we add a decimal, and it stays right here. I'm going to add 0 here as a placeholder. Now all my numbers have one decimal place. 2, 3, and 0 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Carry the 1, carry the 1, carry the 1, carry the 1. Okay, and we get 31.5. Okay. Le último, 3.5 times k, which is 5, minus 1.5 times y, which is 4. So let's find out what 3.5 times 5 is. 25 goes 2, 15, 17. That's one decimal place here. So my answer should have 1 decimal place, so 17.5. 1.5 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20, carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Not 60. We've got to adjust this because it has 1 decimal place value, so my answer should have 1, and that becomes 6.0. So 17.5 minus 6.0. 17.5, line up your decimals. Subtract, 5 minus 0 is 5, 7 minus 6 is 1, and you get 11.5. Final answer, 11.5. Okay, and that is day 10.